Why are you so difficult? What's happening? It's Jasiah and Kai Kai. Kai Kai, can you turn your head and look? Look. It's Jasiah and Kai Kai today because he's a little scaredy cat. And if I leave him on the floor, he's gonna get scared of all the sounds around him. So today we have Kai Kai. It's my little baby. But I really wanted to speak about how creation and inspiration obviously are hand in hand. Creation and inspiration are hand in hand because a lot of the times when we are creating or we come from a space of wanting to create, it's because we are inspired by something. But lately, I have not been inspired by much, actually. Like, I'll look around and I'll consume all these forms of content, but I won't feel as though I'm inspired. And so I don't create the content. And I'm at this point where I ask myself, why do I not feel drawn to create the content if I'm not feeling inspired? And that's because if I create content when I'm not feeling inspired, it's like not honoring my ability to create. Because for you to have the beautiful privilege and the mind that is so beautiful, that is capable of creating, it has its seasons, it has these sparks of inspiration. And so when you're trying to create and you're trying to force inspiration, it's almost like forcing a season to change. When the leaves are falling during fall and it's about to become winter, there's no possible way for you to force that season to change. So if you are going through a place where you don't feel inspired and you're not sure what to create, sit in that. Sit in that. Maybe that is the inspiration. A lot of the times we tend to look outside of who we are in order to get some inspiration, and that's completely valid. That's so valid because obviously if you're looking to be inspired, a lot of the times it's going to be artwork that's made outside of us. But for me, I've been coming to this realization, hi Kai Kai, that a lot of the times when I'm in this state of mind of per se wanting to get an idea, like forcing inspiration upon myself, trying to figure out how to create content, trying to figure out what the next topic is. When I apply that pressure on myself to gain some inspiration to create, it's almost like resistance. It's like making the inspiration run away from me. And then when I finally sit in that feeling of like, okay, why am I not inspired? What's going on? How can I be inspired? I realized like you can't really look for inspiration, but instead, excuse me, confirmation burp. You can't really look for inspiration. Excuse me, confirmation burp again. But what you can do is be able to look at your life, be able to look at what you're existing in, be able to look at what your reality looks like. And from that, you create. Oh, Kai Kai. Don't bark, don't bark, don't bark, don't bark, don't bark. You don't see nothing. You don't see nothing, don't bark. Do not bark. Good boy. What's going on? Good boy. Don't bark. Alright, so back to what I was saying though. So I feel like when you are in a state of mind where you are trying to create this inspiration, I feel as though it's resisting the inspiration coming in. And a lot of the times the inspiration is ourselves. The inspiration is our circumstances and our emotions and channeling our emotions into artwork, because a lot of the times we have emotions, and these emotions are very, very strong emotions. And within using those strong emotions, you can then channel it into an artwork, a creative expression, not an artwork. But uh, guys, I'm allowing myself to create shitty content. I seen a little post, shout out to whoever this was, but I'm allowing myself to create shitty content. Like, I'm allowing myself to just have fun and to just talk and to just create and not really have a guideline and not have a set standard, because if I have a set standard, if I have a set guideline, it's almost like telling myself that whatever I create is not good enough until it looks a certain way. And that is very limiting, because just because I created it, it's worthy to be expressed. Just because I created it, it's worthy to be released. And it's that way because if it's coming from a space of authenticity, it's coming from a space of me, then I know that it's perfectly fine, and more than perfectly fine. It's perfect, actually, to be released because it was created from me. It was created from a place of authenticity. And so, with that being said, I don't need to be, but I want to be in a space where I'm allowing myself to create content, and it doesn't have to look a certain way. It doesn't have to flow a certain way. It doesn't have to be all organized in a certain way, but instead it needs to be created. It needs to be birthed. It needs to be brought into this earth because when you're creating, creation is so beautiful. It's essentially taking something that didn't exist, like an idea, and turning it into something tangible, turning it into something that's now existing, that can be seen, that can be felt, that can be touched, that can be experienced through one of the senses. But can you believe that without that idea, creation would never come to pass? So ideas should be honored, and ideas should be honored because ideas are are like exercise for our brain. When we have these ideas, when we allow these thoughts to pass through it and to come into our brains, and we sit with these thoughts, we sit with these ideas, it's like allowing our brain to exercise its creativity. It's allowing our brain to exercise its ability to make something out of what was nothing. And a lot of the times, to make something out of nothing, it's really to make something out of our human emotions, our human circumstances, our human reality, because that's what makes us so unique. The human experience is what makes us unique. We may have similarities in our experiences, but we will never, ever, 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 ever have the same life. We will never, ever, 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 ever have the same true, like, twin life. Like even if there were twins, I had a twin. We grew up in the same environment. We grew up in the doing the same things, same beliefs, same cultures, same morals. They will have their own story because they have their own perspectives. They have their own understandings. They have their own comprehensions. They just have their own reality, and they make it. And I would have mine. Even if we share confirmation, even if we share a lot of similarities, there is no possible way that one single reality is the exact same to another. It's not possible. And I think that's what's so beautiful about humans. But back to what I was saying, ideas and creation and inspiration can't be forced. So it's really just allowing yourself to look within yourself and ask yourself, what do I feel is making me agitated to create? Why am I itching to create? Why am I fiending to create? And then from that place, from that space, you can then create. And that question alone may not just like ruffle your feathers and give you, every single answer that you need, because let's be honest, there's so many questions we have that we want answered. And I realize that no one ever really has the answers to these questions but ourselves. Like, I can tell you the answer to a question, but it will not be the right or correct answer unless you perceive it to be, if that makes sense. So it does make sense. It does make sense. Questions and answers and all that, it's simply subjective. my answer to a question is right because my background, my education, and then his answer to the same question is wrong to me because the morals and the beliefs aren't aligned. So that's just not cute. It's just not right in my reality. With that being said, though, it's so beautiful that we all experience different realities, meaning that we all experience different seasons, meaning that we all experience different obstacles, different challenges, and we all get to have the opportunity to show up and I wouldn't necessarily say solve these problems, but be able to become a version of ourselves that can make something of the problem and make it work for them. So when there's a problem and you can make it work for you, that's everything. We're out, chat. Later, loves. This is why I have to have him up. You hear this? You hear this dog? I love him, but he does way too much. Kai, stop it. They walked away. Stop. They walked away. Stop it. Stop. Thank you. We're leaving now. Do too much. Anyways, this dog is genuinely special ed. No shade. Like, he's dead ass special. And I love him. But that requires a lot more attention. So, with that being said, oh, go down. Good boy, Papa. All right, later, loves. Mwah.